Hello friends. My name is Showmail. From Horror Stories, I hope you are doing well. Today I am here to tell a horror story, so plug your headphones, close your eyes, and let's start the story with a horror topic. Elisa Lam, what really happened in that elevator? She walked into the elevator, pressed every button, peeked outside, then vanished. Her name was Elisa Lam, a 21-year-old student, a solo traveler, a Tumblr blogger, and the last person you'd expect to end up dead, naked, in a sealed rooftop water tank. Welcome to the Cecil Hotel, where guests drank her corpse without even knowing. In January 2013, Elisa arrived in Los Angeles on a solo trip from Vancouver. She was young, artistic, and full of curiosity. But the place she chose to stay was far from safe. The Cecil Hotel wasn't a charming budget spot. It had a history soaked in violence, serial killers, suicides, overdoses, you name it. Dear travel sites, maybe add a haunted history warning, right? But Elisa didn't seem scared, yet. She even posted about her trip on Tumblr, until the posts stopped. 4 days later, she went missing, and then LAPD released a surveillance video from the elevator. It wasn't just weird. It was deeply unsettling. Elisa steps inside, presses multiple buttons. Then, she hides in the corner, peeks into the hallway, moves like someone's chasing her, but no one's there. She waves her arms oddly, like she's talking to something invisible. Then, suddenly, she's gone. Because if this was a scene from a movie, you'd think it's too weird to be real. But it was real, and that footage, over 25 million people watched it, trying to make sense of the senseless. Police searched everywhere, hallways, her room, roof, stairwells. No signs of struggle, no scent trails for the dogs. It was as if Elisa had evaporated. Guests began to report low water pressure and a strange taste in the tap water. Worse, some said the water was black. The hotel sent maintenance to the rooftop tanks. That's where they found her. Inside one of the tanks, Elisa's naked body, bloated, decomposing, clothes floating beside her, and the tank's lid closed. Next time you stay in a cheap hotel, maybe, stick to bottled. But jokes aside, how did she get in there? There were alarms on the roof, locked doors, and high tank lids. No ladder inside. People said she was murdered. Others claimed she was hallucinating. Some thought it was a suicide. But here's the catch. There were no drugs or alcohol in her system. None. The coroner ruled her death accidental drowning, but her clothes were off, suggesting trauma. No bruises, no sexual assault, and no explanation. Elisa had bipolar disorder. She took medication, but her toxicology showed low levels. Was she skipping doses, or something else at play? Her blog mentioned she was struggling, but would that lead her to climb into a water tank? It doesn't add up. Not for most people, especially not when you factor in one more thing. To get on the roof, Elisa would have had to disable the alarm door, climb a ladder, open a heavy lid, jump in voluntarily, and somehow close it behind her. None of that makes sense, unless she wasn't alone. That's the question no one can answer, because no footage shows her going to the roof, and no fingerprints were found. After the footage went viral, online detectives took over. They picked apart every frame of the elevator video, zoomed in, enhanced. Theories went wild. Some said a ghost was following her. Others blamed the hotel staff. Some accused other hotel guests. One was even doxxed and harassed. This place had a gruesome legacy. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, lived there. Multiple suicides happened on site. Guests jumped to their deaths. Even Netflix called it the hotel death wouldn't check out of. New rule: if a place is cheaper than the morgue, maybe skip it. But was Elisa just the latest chapter in the hotel's cursed story? Some believe Elisa was followed, attacked, hidden, then dumped in the tank. But again, no bruises, no witnesses, no screams. So if it was murder, it was impossibly clean. Others argue her behavior in the video matches a manic episode, disorientation, paranoia, erratic gestures, but that still doesn't explain how she reached the roof or why she took her clothes off. Here's where things get strange. The Cecil Hotel is rumored to be haunted. Guests report whispers, flickering lights, shadow figures. Some even believe Elisa was possessed. A paranormal researcher claimed her hand gestures looked like a ritual. In a bizarre twist, there was a tuberculosis outbreak near Skid Row that same week. The test used was literally called the LAM Elisa test. What are the odds? Coincidence? Simulation glitch? Or something darker? They've since drained it, but the rooftop tanks remain, like silent tombs, reminders that whatever happened to Elisa Lam remains unanswered. To this day, the footage is still dissected. Some claim they've seen a shadow behind her in the hallway. Others say she was reacting to someone just outside the frame. Netflix's crime scene, The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel, reignited public interest. But even it failed to give closure. Too many questions, not enough answers. So what happened to Elisa Lam? A tragic accident? A carefully concealed murder? Or something that defies logic altogether? She vanished on camera, died off camera, and her story refuses to stay buried. If that story left a chill in your spine, it's just the beginning. Because the truth is always stranger and scarier than fiction. Subscribe now to hear more real stories that should never have happened, but did. You never know who or what is waiting in your hallway.